The vast emptiness of space had always held mysteries beyond human comprehension, but no one expected to receive the distress signal that changed everything. It was a typical Tuesday afternoon at the Deep Space Monitoring Station in Nevada when Sarah Chen noticed an unusual pattern in her readings. At first, she thought it was just another stellar anomaly, the kind that usually turned out to be space debris or distant pulsars. But this was different, a repeating sequence, too precise to be natural, too complex to be human-made. Within hours, similar signals were picked up by stations across the globe. The message, once decoded, was both simple and extraordinary. Help. Fleet stranded. Life support failing. Coordinates attached. The aliens, as it turned out, weren't the advanced civilization coming to either destroy or enlighten us. Instead, they were travelers in desperate need of assistance, their massive fleet of generation ships trapped in a gravitational anomaly near Jupiter's orbit. The world's governments gathered in an emergency session at the UN, but it was the ordinary people who truly rose to the occasion. Engineers from different countries began collaborating on solutions, working around the clock to modify our existing space technology. Retired NASA specialists volunteered their expertise, while university students worldwide contributed fresh perspectives to the rescue mission plans. What made this situation particularly ironic was that the alien fleet possessed technology far beyond our understanding, yet they needed our help because their advanced systems had been rendered useless by the anomaly. Their ships were designed for the elegant manipulation of quantum fields, but sometimes, as we would learn, the simplest solutions proved to be the most effective. The first images we received of their fleet left everyone speechless. 12 massive ships, each the size of a small city, their crystalline structures reflecting Jupiter's light like diamonds in the void. But beneath their beautiful exterior, these vessels housed millions of desperate beings, their life support systems slowly failing as the anomaly drained their power reserves. Time was running against us. Humanity had 6 months before the fleet's backup systems would fail completely. 6 months to achieve what we hadn't managed in all our years of space exploration: to send a rescue mission beyond Mars' orbit with enough power and equipment to assist ships that made our largest vessels look like rowboats in comparison. They say necessity is the mother of invention, and facing this crisis, humanity proved that saying true once again. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources. Private space companies opened their research to the public. Even children contributed, with a 10-year-old girl from Brazil suggesting a crucial modification to the rescue ship's solar array design. As I stand here today, looking at the massive rescue vessels being assembled in orbit, I can't help but feel proud of what we've accomplished so far. The ships represent more than just humanity's technological achievement. They're a testament to our species' ability to unite and extend a helping hand, even to those from beyond our stars. But the real challenge lies ahead. In 3 days, the first rescue mission will launch, carrying a brave crew of international specialists toward that mysterious anomaly near Jupiter. They'll be attempting something never done before, using technology that's barely been tested, to save beings we've never met face to face. Will our relatively primitive technology be enough to free an advanced alien fleet? Can we reach them before their life support systems fail? And perhaps most importantly, what will this moment mean for humanity's place in the cosmic community? As we prepare for the launch, these questions weigh heavily on everyone's minds, because we all understand one thing clearly: this isn't just about saving lives anymore. This is humanity's first real test as a spacefaring civilization, and failure simply isn't an option. The launch day arrived under clear skies, with billions watching worldwide as the rescue fleet, consisting of 3 ships named Unity, Pioneer, and Hope, broke free from Earth's gravity. The sight of these vessels, built through unprecedented global cooperation, brought tears to many eyes. They weren't the sleek, artistic ships of science fiction. Instead, they were functional, almost crude-looking compared to the alien fleet's elegant design, but they carry humanity's best chance at success. Commander Lisa Thompson, leading the mission from Unity, had spent 20 years in space operations, but nothing had prepared her for this. As they accelerated toward Jupiter, She couldn't shake off the memory of her last conversation with her daughter. "Mom, when you meet them, tell them about ice cream," the 8-year-old had said with complete seriousness. "Anyone having a bad day needs ice cream." That simple childhood wisdom now seemed strangely appropriate for their diplomatic first contact situation. The journey to Jupiter would take 2 months, even with the new fusion drives developed specifically for this mission. During this time, the crew maintained constant communication with the alien fleet. Through these exchanges, we learned more about our mysterious new friends. They called themselves the Keepers, not because it was their species' name, but because they were literally keeping something, though they remained mysteriously vague about what exactly they were protecting. Back on Earth, Sarah Chen had been promoted to lead the communication team, coordinating between the rescue fleet and the Keepers. She noticed something peculiar in the aliens' messages. They seemed particularly interested in human music: classical, rock, jazz, traditional folk songs from various cultures. They requested everything. When asked why, their response was cryptic: "Sound moves differently where we come from." As our ships passed Mars' orbit, the rescue fleet encountered their first major challenge. The same anomaly trapping the Keepers was affecting our long-range communications. Messages became distorted, filled with strange echoes and overlaps. Even more worrying, the rescue fleet's instruments began showing conflicting readings. According to some sensors, they were approaching Jupiter, but others suggested they were actually getting further away. Dr. Robert Hayes, the mission's lead physicist, discovered something unsettling in the data. The anomaly wasn't just a gravitational phenomenon. It appeared to be bending space itself, creating what he called a temporal fold. In simpler terms, the stranded alien fleet might not just be trapped in space, but in time as well. This revelation raised a chilling question. When we reach them, how much time will have passed from their perspective? The Keepers' messages became increasingly urgent, but also more confused. In one transmission, they claimed their life support would fail in 4 months. In the next, they said it had already failed 3 weeks ago. Yet their ships showed no signs of power loss. Something about the anomaly was playing havoc with causality itself. Commander Thompson made a difficult decision. Instead of following their original rescue plan, she ordered the fleet to split up. Unity would continue on their planned trajectory, while Pioneer and Hope would approach from different angles, hoping to triangulate the true position of the Keepers' fleet within the distorted space-time. As they got closer, the crew began experiencing strange phenomena. Crew members reported seeing themselves in corridors they hadn't walked down yet, hearing conversations that wouldn't happen until hours later. The ship's eyes started calculating in base 12 mathematics without being programmed to do so, and the coffee in the mess hall started flowing upward instead of down. The rescue mission was quickly becoming more than just a technical challenge. It was forcing humanity to question our fundamental understanding of reality. And somewhere ahead, trapped in that mind-bending anomaly, the Keepers waited with their secret cargo, their true purpose still unknown. What were they really keeping, and why had they chosen to call for help from a species so much less advanced than their own? The effects of the anomaly grew stronger as Unity approached the coordinates of the Keeper fleet. Time aboard the ship became increasingly unreliable. Crew members would enter the mess hall for breakfast only to find themselves eating dinner, while others experienced the same 10 minutes repeatedly. Through it all, Commander Thompson maintained her focus, even when she started seeing multiple versions of herself giving different orders on the bridge. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Hayes noticed that the ship's coffee machine, which had been brewing drinks upward instead of down, was actually revealing something crucial about the anomaly's nature. The reversed flow wasn't chaos. It was following a precise mathematical pattern. By mapping these patterns, the team began to understand that what they were seeing wasn't random distortion, but rather echoes of different timelines converging on a single point. Pioneer and Hope, approaching from their alternate vectors, confirmed the theory. They weren't just dealing with bent space. They were approaching what Dr. Hayes called a temporal knot, where multiple timelines had become tangled around the Keeper fleet. The aliens hadn't just been trapped by gravity. They'd been caught in a web of intersecting timelines, each pull threatening to tear their ships apart. Communication with Earth had become nearly impossible. but Sarah Chen managed to decode one final message from the Keepers that changed everything. The cargo is awakening. The universes are bleeding. We cannot hold them apart much longer. The message was followed by a burst of data that took hours to process, but when it finally rendered on their screens, the entire rescue mission control room fell silent. The Keepers weren't just carrying cargo. They were preventing multiple universes from colliding with each other. As Unity drew closer to the Keeper fleet, they could finally see the full scale of what they were dealing with. The massive alien ships weren't arranged randomly. They formed a precise geometric pattern, creating a barrier between what looked like tiers in the fabric of space itself. Through these tiers, the crew caught glimpses of other realities, worlds where Earth had never formed, universes where the laws of physics worked differently, timelines where humanity had evolved along completely different paths. Commander Thompson had to make an impossible decision. The original rescue plan wouldn't work. Simply pulling the Keeper ships free could unleash a cascade of collapsing realities. But leaving them trapped wasn't an option either. Their power was failing, and if their ships lost containment, the resulting collision of universes could erase existence as we knew it. That's when Unity's AI made an unexpected suggestion. It had been calculating in base 12 mathematics not because of malfunction, but because it had inadvertently synced with the Keeper's computational systems. Through this connection, it proposed a solution that seemed both brilliant and terrifying. The human rescue ships could use their fusion drives to replicate the Keeper's containment field, temporarily holding the tiers in reality apart, while the alien ships restored their power. The catch? Such an attempt would expose the human crews to the full force of the temporal knot. No one knew if human consciousness could survive experiencing multiple timelines simultaneously. Even the Keepers, with their advanced biology, had been unable to maintain awareness across the temporal distortions. As Commander Thompson addressed her crew about the risks, alarms began blaring throughout all three rescue ships. The Keeper's containment field was failing faster than predicted, and reality itself seemed to be unraveling around them. Through the viewports, they could see the tiers in space growing larger, the glimpses of other universes becoming more vivid and chaotic. The moment of truth had arrived. Humanity's first major test as a spacefaring civilization had evolved into something far more significant. We now held not just the lives of the Keepers in our hands, but the very fabric of reality itself. As Commander Thompson gave the order to begin the containment procedure, no one knew if they were about to save the universe or become lost in the infinity of possibilities that lay before them. As Unity's engines powered up to attempt the containment procedure, something unexpected happened. Their eye, still connected to the Keeper systems, began translating data that had been hidden deep within the alien ship's memory banks. The Keepers hadn't chosen Earth for help by random chance. They had been searching specifically for humans, for a reason that now seemed almost impossible to believe. Through the fractured timelines, the AI revealed images from what appeared to be Earth's distant future. In these glimpses, humanity had evolved into beings capable of navigating multiple dimensions at will. These future humans had developed the very technology the Keepers were using to hold reality together. The Keepers weren't just carrying their mysterious cargo. They were carrying the blueprint of humanity's destiny, preserved from a timeline that was now threatening to collapse. Commander Thompson watched in astonishment as holographic displays showed her crew members' potential future selves, working alongside the Keepers in different timelines, developing the technology that could save them all. The temporal knot hadn't formed by accident. It was the result of countless timelines converging on this crucial moment, where humanity would either unlock its multidimensional potential or lose it forever. Dr. Hayes' instruments detected another critical change. The tiers in reality weren't just growing larger. They were starting to synchronize with human brainwave patterns. Every time a crew member made a decision or even had a thought, it created ripples through the surrounding timelines. The human consciousness, somehow, was acting as a stabilizing force in the chaos of colliding universes. Sarah Chen, monitoring from Earth through the increasingly unstable communication link, noticed something in the Keeper's original distress signal that everyone had missed. Hidden within the carrier wave was a pattern matching human delta brain waves during deep sleep. The Keepers hadn't just been sending a call for help. they had been activating something dormant within human consciousness itself. Pioneer and Hope reported a new phenomenon. Their crews were starting to experience shared consciousness across the ships, thinking and acting as one entity. It wasn't chaos or confusion. It was a new form of awareness, as if human consciousness was naturally evolving to adapt to the multiplicities of reality around them. The temporal knot wasn't destroying human awareness. It was transforming it. But this revelation came with a terrible price. As the crew's consciousness expanded, they began to understand the true nature of what the Keepers were containing. Beyond the tears and reality, something was waiting, something that had been hunting the Keepers across dimensions, drawn to the very power that humanity was now beginning to manifest. The entity appeared in glimpses, a void that consumed light, time, and possibility itself. Commander Thompson realized with growing horror that they weren't just fighting to save the Keepers or to prevent universal collapse. They were caught in an ancient conflict between those who sought to protect the diversity of reality and a force that wanted to reduce all possibility to a single, unchanging timeline. The Keepers had been running not just to preserve humanity's future potential, but to prevent this entity from destroying the very concept of choice and change throughout all dimensions. The rescue mission now faced an impossible choice. They could still attempt their original plan to stabilize the temporal knot, but doing so would alert this ancient enemy to humanity's awakening abilities. Or they could try something far more dangerous, use their newly emerging consciousness to confront this entity directly, without any guarantee of success or survival. As the crew grappled with this decision, the void began to take notice. Through the tears and reality, they could feel its attention turning toward Earth, drawn by the very power they were manifesting. The time for preparation and planning was over. Whatever they were going to do, they needed to decide now, as reality itself hung in the balance between infinite possibility and eternal silence. In the face of this cosmic threat, Commander Thompson made a decision that would echo across all possible timelines. Instead of running or hiding, she ordered all 3 rescue ships to form a triangle around the Keeper fleet, mirroring their containment pattern. As their crews' shared consciousness expanded, they began to understand that their ship's formation wasn't just geometric. It was completing a pattern that had started billions of years ago when the first humans looked up at the stars and dreamed. The void entity, sensing their strategy, began its attack. Reality buckled as it tried to collapse all possible timelines into a single thread, but something extraordinary happened. As the crew's consciousness stretched across multiple dimensions, they discovered they weren't alone. Through the tears in space-time, countless versions of humanity from different timelines reached back to them. Scientists, dreamers, explorers, all connected through this singular moment, their combined will creating a network of consciousness that spanned not just space, but possibility itself. Dr. Hayes, his mind now synchronized with 1,000 versions of himself, realized the beautiful simplicity of it all. The coffee flowing upward, the eyes base 12 calculations, the shared dreams, they weren't side effects of the temporal knot. They were humanity's first steps toward understanding that reality wasn't meant to be single and fixed. It was meant to be a dance of infinite possibilities, each choice creating new universes of potential. The Keepers, seeing humanity awakening to their true potential, finally revealed their cargo. Within their ships lay the collected consciousness of countless civilizations who had chosen to preserve the multiplicity of existence. They weren't just running from the void. They were gathering allies for this very moment, when a species young enough to adapt but wise enough to understand would join their cause. As the void pressed its attack, Commander Thompson felt something shift in the fabric of reality itself. The human crew, their consciousness now fully awakened, didn't just resist the collapse, they began to reshape it. Every human choice, every decision, every dream of what could be became a weapon against the nothingness. The void had sought to impose a single reality, but instead found itself confronted by the full power of human imagination and possibility. The final battle happened simultaneously across all timelines. The rescue fleet's fusion drives, powered by the crew's unified will, created a new kind of containment field, not just holding reality apart, but actively generating new possibilities. The Keepers joined their ancient knowledge with humanity's fresh perspective, and together they didn't just fight the void, they transformed it. But as victory seemed within reach, the crews discovered the true price of their success. To stabilize the multiplicity of realities, someone would need to remain as an anchor point, a consciousness spread across all timelines to prevent future collapses. The Keepers had been carrying this burden for eons, and now they were offering humanity a choice, a place among the guardians of infinite possibility. Sarah Chen, monitoring from Earth, suddenly understood why the Keepers had been so interested in human music. It wasn't just sound. It was humanity's intuitive understanding that multiple notes could create harmony rather than chaos. As Commander Thompson volunteered her consciousness to join the Keepers, her last human message was simple: "We are the music of reality itself." The rescue fleet returned to Earth, changed but triumphant. The Keeper ships, their power restored, took their place among the stars, now joined by human consciousness that would help maintain the delicate balance of infinite possibility. But they left humanity with a gift, the understanding that every human choice, every decision, every dream creates new realities, new possibilities, new hopes. And sometimes, on quiet nights, when people look up at the stars, they might feel a familiar presence, the consciousness of those who chose to become the guardians of possibility, watching over all the beautiful, chaotic, infinite potential of existence. Commander Thompson's consciousness, spread across reality itself, still remembers her daughter's words about ice cream. After all, in an infinite universe, sometimes the simplest wisdom is the most profound. In the months following the rescue mission, humanity began to understand the true magnitude of what had occurred. The world's greatest scientists studied the data from the mission, trying to comprehend how ordinary humans had evolved so quickly to handle multiple realities. But perhaps more fascinating were the subtle changes people began noticing in their daily lives. Children started drawing pictures of impossible colors, claiming they saw them in their dreams. Musicians composed pieces that seemed to echo with harmonies from other dimensions. Even ordinary people reported moments of startling clarity, where they could almost feel the weight of their choices creating new branches of reality. The universe, it seemed, had become a more wondrous place since humanity had embraced its role as guardians of possibility. The crew members who returned from the mission carried a unique perspective. They could no longer see the world in simple terms of what was and wasn't possible. Instead, they saw layers of potential in everything, each moment pregnant with infinite possibilities. Dr. Hayes continued his research, developing new theories about consciousness and reality that would revolutionize physics. His coffee still occasionally defied gravity, but he'd learned to see it as a reminder of humanity's expanded perspective. Sarah Chen established a new communication network designed to detect and interpret signals from across dimensional boundaries. Sometimes, late at night, she would receive fragments of messages, echoes of Commander Thompson's consciousness reaching across the boundaries of reality. These messages, though often cryptic, helped humanity maintain its connection to the greater cosmic community they had joined. The Keeper ships became a permanent fixture in Earth's sky, visible as shifting points of light that seemed to exist in multiple places at once. They served as a reminder of humanity's evolution and responsibility. Schools now taught children about multiple realities and the importance of understanding how their choices could shape not just their own lives, but the fabric of existence itself. Commander Thompson's daughter, now a teenager, had perhaps the most unique perspective of all. She'd grown up knowing her mother existed everywhere and nowhere, spread across the infinite possibilities of reality. On her birthday each year, she would look up at the stars and feel her mother's presence, not as a loss, but as an expansion into something greater than any single human life could encompass. The void entity, transformed by the power of human consciousness and choice, became something new, not an enemy of possibility, but a space where new realities could be born. The very force that had threatened to collapse all existence had been reshaped into a cradle for new universes, proof that even the darkest aspects of reality could be transformed through understanding and acceptance. As humanity continued to develop, we never forgot the lesson learned among the stars, that our greatest strength lies not in dominating a single reality, but in nurturing the infinite possibilities that exist in every moment. The rescue mission that had started as a response to a distress call had become humanity's first step into a larger understanding of our place in the cosmos. And so, when people now look up at the night sky, they see more than just stars and planets. They see the infinite web of possibility that connects all things, the countless choices that create new realities, and the brave souls who guard the boundaries between what is and what could be. They remember that somewhere out there, human consciousness dances among the stars, helping to maintain the delicate balance of existence itself. Perhaps most importantly, they remember that in an infinite universe full of impossible wonders, sometimes the simplest things, like sharing ice cream on a bad day, still matter most, because in the end, it's not the grandeur of cosmic scales that defines us, but the small choices we make every day, each one creating new branches of possibility in the endless symphony of reality.